The Necklace and A Story of Lost Connections 1. Catherine Morrison had built her life around certainty, facts, figures, bottom lines that made sense. At 57, she was the CEO of Morrison Digital Solutions, a company she'd grown from a small startup in her garage to a firm with 300 employees. She had corner offices in 2 cities, a beautiful home that felt too large most evenings, and a calendar filled with meetings that mattered to everyone except, perhaps, herself. What she didn't have was the one thing she'd wanted most years ago, a family. It was a gray Saturday morning in November. Catherine had stopped at the farmer's market downtown, something she rarely did. Her assistant usually handled such things, but today, she'd woken with a restlessness she couldn't name and decided to walk among the crowds. To remember what normal life felt like. She was examining apples at a fruit stand when she felt a small tug on her coat. Catherine looked down. A girl stood beside her, maybe 8 years old, with dark curls escaping from beneath a knitted cap. Her jacket was thin for the weather, and her sneakers had seen better days. "Excuse me," the girl said quietly. "Are you somebody's mom?" Catherine blinked, taken off guard. No, I'm not." The girl's face fell slightly, but she didn't move away. "Oh, I was hoping. Never mind." Something in the child's voice made Catherine kneel down, bringing herself to eye level. "Are you lost, sweetheart? Should we find your parents? I'm with my foster mom. She's over there." The girl pointed to a tired-looking woman juggling shopping bags and talking to a vendor. "She's nice, but she's not my real mom." Catherine felt her chest tighten. "I see. Today is Mother-Daughter Day at the community center," the girl continued, her words tumbling out now. "They're doing crafts and having lunch. All the kids are going with their moms. Mrs. Patterson said she'd take me, but she has to work. And I just thought..." She looked up at Catherine with eyes that held too much understanding for someone so young. "I thought maybe. Could you be my mom? Just for today?" Catherine's breath caught. She should say no. She had conference calls to prepare for, reports to review, a life carefully constructed to avoid exactly this kind of unexpected complication. But those eyes. They reminded her of someone. "What's your name?" Catherine asked softly. "Emma. Emma Rodriguez." "Well, Emma, I'm Catherine." She paused, feeling something shift inside her. "Tell me about this Mother-Daughter Day." Emma's face lit up. "It's from 10 to 2. We make picture frames and bake cookies, and there's going to be a little ceremony where we tell everyone what we love about our moms." Her voice dropped. "I know it's weird to ask a stranger. My real mom, she died when I was 5. I don't remember her very much anymore. Just little things." Her laugh. "And this." Emma pulled out a small necklace from beneath her shirt. It was a simple silver chain with a pendant, a tiny butterfly with one wing slightly bent. Catherine's world tilted. She reached out with trembling fingers, barely breathing. "May I?" Emma nodded, and Catherine held the pendant gently, turning it over. On the back, barely visible, were initials she knew by heart. CM plus DR, Catherine Morrison and David Rodriguez. The room seemed to spin. 17 years ago, the clinic. The young couple who'd adopted her baby girl. Their promises to love her, to give her the life Catherine couldn't provide as a struggling 22-year-old with no support and no options she could see. The necklace. She'd given it to the adoptive mother, asking her to give it to the baby when she was old enough, so she knows someone loved her from the very beginning, Catherine had said. "Where did you get this?" Catherine whispered. "It was my mom's, Diana. Before she died, she gave it to me. She said someone gave it to her when I was born, and she wanted me to have it. She said it was from someone who loved me very much but couldn't keep me safe." Catherine's eyes filled with tears. She'd thought about her daughter every day for 17 years. Wondered where she was, if she was happy, if she ever thought about the woman who'd given her life and then given her away. "Emma," Catherine said carefully, her voice shaking. "How old are you?" 8, but I'll be 9 in January. January 14th. January 14th. The date was carved into Catherine's soul. Catherine sat back on her heels, her mind racing. The couple who'd adopted her baby had been David and Diana Rodriguez. They must have died. Her daughter, Her beautiful, impossible daughter had ended up in foster care. "Emma," she said slowly, "I would be honored to be your mom today. More honored than you could possibly know." The smile that broke across Emma's face was like sunrise. They spent the day together at the community center. Catherine helped Emma decorate a picture frame with painted flowers and glitter. They baked chocolate chip cookies that were slightly burnt but perfect anyway. They sat together at tiny tables, and Catherine listened as Emma talked about school, about her foster home, about missing her parents but trying to be brave. When it came time for the ceremony, Emma stood up proudly. "This is Catherine," she announced to the room. "She's my mom for today. And I love that she said yes when she didn't have to. I love that she has kind eyes. And I love that she makes me feel like maybe I'm not so alone." Catherine couldn't speak past the lump in her throat. After the event, Catherine walked Emma back to find Mrs. Patterson, the foster mother. The woman greeted them with relief and warmth, thanking Catherine for stepping in. "Mrs. Patterson," Catherine heard herself saying, "could I speak with you privately for a moment?" About Emma's situation? What followed were phone calls to social workers, lawyers, background checks and home studies and endless paperwork. Catherine told them the truth, that she was Emma's birth mother, that she'd placed her for adoption in good faith, that she'd never stopped thinking about her. The butterfly necklace, with its initials, helped prove the connection. It took 6 months. 6 months of supervised visits, of Emma slowly learning the truth, of trust being built between a woman and a girl who were strangers and yet never had been. Catherine learned that Diana and David Rodriguez had died in a car accident 2 years earlier. Emma had been placed with Mrs. Patterson, a loving temporary guardian, but the system was overwhelmed and permanency was uncertain. On a spring morning in a courthouse downtown, a judge signed papers that changed everything. Emma came home. Catherine's large house suddenly felt exactly the right size. The guest room became a bedroom with posters and books and every shade of purple Emma loved. The kitchen filled with the chaos of homework and after-school snacks. The calendar filled with piano lessons and parent-teacher conferences and all the beautiful, ordinary moments Catherine had mourned giving up. One evening, several months after the adoption was finalized, Emma was doing homework at the kitchen table. Catherine was preparing dinner, something she'd learned to do through trial and considerable error. "Mom," Emma said. She'd started calling Catherine Mom tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. "Yes, sweetie?" "I'm glad I asked you that day. At the farmer's market." Catherine set down her spoon and came to sit beside her daughter. "I'm glad you asked, too." "Do you think," Emma hesitated, "do you think my first mom, Diana, somehow knew that she sent me to find you?" Catherine touched the butterfly necklace that Emma still wore every day. "I think love has a way of finding its way home," she said. "Sometimes it takes the long road. Sometimes it takes years. But it finds its way." Emma leaned against her and Catherine wrapped her arms around this miracle, this second chance, this daughter she'd lost and found. Outside, the first stars were appearing. Inside, a family was being built from fragments of the past and hopes for the future. Sometimes, the bravest thing a child can do is ask for love. And sometimes, the bravest thing an adult can do is say yes. The end.